It's all finally happening. It's super positive, and you get back and you email them, and most of them don't reply. Maybe you'll have like, one or two exchanges, and then all of a sudden you just get this silence. Some developers talk about that, and they say that they just have to be consistent and keep bugging people, but really I think if you're having to do that, then you're really not entering into a good business relationship. I don't know, I don't have a lot of good advice to give on this point, because all of these things have just gone like dead for me. So, yeah, don't be too surprised if the super amazing things just vanish. Staying indie. I launched Captain Forever, which, involved releasing the free game as free and the next game as something that people can pay to start playing about 2 weeks ago, which is exciting. Which leads us to an exciting slide about sales, which weren't quite what I was expecting. So the spike that I got from actual launch was about half the size of the one I got from pre-launch, which is really kind of confusing. Part of that I think is explained by just the friends and family effect. People who know you or know of you are more likely to buy your game, just, they're not only going to buy it once. So I already kind of bought it for the sales, but generally, whoops, what the fuck happened, right? So I turned to the Kyle Gabler equation, which is eyeballs times hotness equals sales. I thought, alright, have I screwed up the eyeballs? Have I screwed up the hotness? Wait, I have no fucking idea. Stats. Stats are important. Collect stats. Find out what's going on. So I had several days in, no actual measure for how many people had played my game. I only knew how many sales I had at the end. So I started actually collecting things, put together a really quick system, and in a couple of days I was able to put together some quick figures. So that's where I am at the moment. That's my conversion rate and my 8 cents per person that plays the game. I think, I haven't researched these things very heavily, but I think that's kind of ballparkish for normal shareware things, which isn't bad given that I'm mostly just attacking the I like free games crowd with the whole online flash browser thing. So clearly, I think I need more eyeballs. And I don't think I'll go into how I'm working on that at the moment, but social networks, getting people talking about your games is a good way, I think, to get just people in there playing it. So in the future, the immediate future is pretty simple. I keep making games in series because I've sold people on the idea that I'm going to make several things, and I've made one so far. I kind of open some more stuff. That's not really a burden, even though it kind of sounds like it, because every time I make one of these things and release it, then what people get when they pay me money suddenly increases in value, so that's good. But also, whenever I release something, an email goes out to all of the supporters saying, hey, you just got a thing. And a lot of them kind of, even though they paid this money expecting these extra games, they don't really expect them. So for them, it's a little bit like a bonus. It's nice for them to receive it, and it just kind of helps spread the word as well. So that's all kind of cool. I'm going to keep working on that for a bit. But my time for my sort of 1-year trial of is independent development even going to work out is going to start to dry up around then as well. At which point, oh, well, there's Captain Success. I always forget about that slide. That's what my game looks like. At which point I will talk with my partner, because that's when I will make a decision about whether or not I'm going to keep doing this independent thing, or if I'm going to go and try and get a job, which I believe is increasingly difficult these days. Damn it. So quit your jobs, everybody. It's going to be great. Or don't, actually. Whichever market I want to be in, go somewhere else. It was actually recommended to me that I should give this talk just by standing up here and crying for an hour. So just pretend I did that. Anyway, yeah, we'll talk about it and we'll figure out what I'll do next. If you're interested in this kind of stuff, but you don't want to dive straight in and quit your job, and I would recommend not diving straight in and quitting your job, then consider entering a contest. Digsource and Kokoromi are both running free contests at the moment, like about a month of development time, get to do crazy fun, interesting stuff, learn if you like making small games, introduce yourself to the community, and get involved, have fun. That's pretty much my talk. Do you have any questions?
I can't read the bottom line.
Yeah, that's not my fault. It says Kokorumi. I think it's K-O-K, and you can figure the rest out. Anybody else? Yeah?
For those who don't have extremely awesome numbers to help make ends meet, would you recommend working part-time while you try and get your any development off the ground?
Okay, yeah. I've obviously I haven't done that myself, but I've read a lot of reports from other people doing that kind of thing. And there are definitely some pros and cons to it. It can apparently be very easy to do that, but end up just always working on those little side projects and the revenue generating things, trying to generate enough revenue to do your own projects. So it can be very hard to cross back over into doing your own stuff. So if you're doing it, I would recommend trying to make sure that that work is part-time, that you always have some time to do your own stuff. Also, like I said before, I saved about a year's worth of salary. Save your money, it comes in handy. Money's good. So that's, yeah, those are the two kind of approaches you could take for that. Anybody else? Yes?
You mentioned learning multiple tools and things like that. Have you considered things like outsourcing, like your art?
I have considered that. There are a bunch of reasons why I haven't gone with that, except for in the game Fishy Fishy, where all of the art was done by that lovely gentleman right there. Everybody waved to Simon, who's being presented. And he did it for a great price. So, generally I don't do that for a number of reasons. One of them is that my budget really is zero. Like, the most expensive thing I've spent money on is coming to things like this so far. But if you do everything yourself, it's much easier to coordinate and make sure that everything is part of like an integrated whole. Like, because it's just sort of one brain creating everything, it's easier to get a solid direction. And the more people you have on the project, the more you have to like make sure you have oversight over that kind of thing, and it just becomes a huge amount of work. So I find it easy to do everything myself. Also, just because if I have an idea, I can implement it straight away. I don't need to try and coordinate with someone to get the right assets. And then, you know, if I throw it out, then I kind of feel bad and I've wasted some money. Whereas if I throw out something that was my own time, well, it's my own time, and it's not so bad. Yeah?
How do you make sure that things you make are fun? Seeing as you're sitting there testing yourself.
Well, if it's not fun, I don't make it. No, that
It might be
Sorry, what?
It might be fun for you because it makes sense to you inside.
Yeah.
All that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, the trick there, I guess, is just trying to find ways to explain it to other people to get them at that same point where it's fun. I mean, if it's fun for me, then it's usually something that a lot of people are going to find they can enjoy to some degree if they invest in it. And by a lot of people, I don't mean the majority of people, but, you know, the world's massive. There's a lot of people here. And so, you know, it's more proportionate to, like, what it made Captain Forever, Captain Successor is quite clearly a niche product. I'm aware of that. That's part of why the payment is, you know, more than the traditional App Store dollar or anything like that. But, yeah, I don't know, if something's not fun, like, I try and make something fun right from the outset, basically. And this is another thing where the selfish design thing helps. Because I'm making it because I want to enjoy it and play it, then what I do first is whatever I need to do to make it fun. And if I never get to that stage, then I just kick it out the door because it's just not worth making it. Like, yeah, I think the expression goes that you can't polish a turd, but you can wipe shit off a diamond. So it's just about trying to find the difference between those two, and at some point you just got to stop fighting. Anybody else? Anybody? All right, well, thank you very much.
So it's fantastic, and I think I'm looking around the room and I'm trying to figure out who's actually putting together their exit strategy, and who now is going, I'm going to get back to work now. But that's fantastic, a terrific insight and everything else. And you're going to be around for the rest of the day, so I'm sure that people will you know, want to come up and have some really interesting chats with Farbs. So again, another round of applause for Farbs.